All right, my friends, happy Thursday. It has been a little bit of time. I don't know how long, but probably over a year since I've had something like this on the screen before. What you have before you is a screenshot of a comment that was put on my most recent video, and also it was a copy and paste from something from Twitter as well from Greg Thornberg, and what I used to do, because I used to get into a little bit more trouble, and so I used to screenshot tweets or messages that I felt like would later be deleted. And I haven't had that experience in a while where someone had said something to me that I felt was, number one, relevant, and number two, would later be deleted. But as soon as I saw this one, I screenshotted it right away because I had a feeling it would be gone before you knew it. Anyway, so this is from Gregory Thornberg. He was the subject from the most recent video. If you haven't watched that one, go ahead and go back and watch the last video that I posted about aggression in politics. And I wanted to just mention this because he thought I misrepresented him, but I mean, whatever. But let me just read the comment, and we'll kind of take it from there and pick it apart and all that kind of thing. Here's what he says about my most recent video. Total misrepresentation. I love how people who have never gotten people elected to office criticize me, a GOP campaign manager, for not being interested in politics. Nice try. How many politicians have you gotten elected? Me? Dozens. You? Question mark. How many children have you adopted? Me? 5. You? Question mark. How many years have you worked for the government? How many years have you worked for the government? Me? 10. You? Question mark. How many nonprofits that rescue trafficked children do you support? Me? 2. You? Question mark. How many orphans do you sponsor? Me? 5. You? Question mark. I bet I've done more manly fighting back than all of your listeners combined. But back to your point, I'm not ashamed of the gospel, as your movement is, and I stand by my assertion that the Christian life is not about being a jerk. That's the whole comment. Sorry for the hysterical laughter in the middle of that. I found it funny because, he's obviously trying to puff himself up in his bona fides. This is his resume, and he's very proud of it. And he's obviously trying to throw shade in my direction, of course. But then, all of these are like, oh, these are good things. You got politicians elected. Great. I mean, I guess it depends on the politicians. You've adopted children. Oh, that's wonderful. You support nonprofits that support rescue trafficked children. That's great. You sponsor orphans. That's wonderful. And then, in the middle, how many years have you worked for the government? As if that's another thing that's just so fantastic. Look. I can't say there's no shame in working for the government because it really depends on what your job is. But there's really no shame in working for the government per se. But to put that up there as look at me, I worked for the government for 10 years. I don't know why that just, it tickled me. It really did. It tickled me. But anyway, so that's what his post said. And, it's all good stuff, right? And this is the thing, I don't really have an issue with him being a GOP strategist, except for the fact, well, we'll get to it. But my video, if you watched it, and if you're watching this one, you probably watched that one, it wasn't really about any of these things. It was about, and it wasn't even, I didn't even say that he wasn't interested in politics. I just said you shouldn't listen to him when it came to politics based on a particular tweet. What it was, if you remember, it was about throwing shade at victory by aggression. Victory by aggression. And he said he made it seem like that's somehow unchristian. And my point in the video was, look, and he said, of course, you should suffer with humility and all this kind of stuff. And my point was, yeah, that's good for a Christian, but also aggression is good for a Christian. And especially in politics, that's what my point was. Like, if you're a GOP strategist, then you should know that, politics and government, in a sense, it's all about aggression. The government is the revenger of God. The government bears the sword for God, the vengeance of God. That's all about aggression. Now, it's not aggression for aggression's sake, and it's not aggression for evil. It's aggression for good, for justice, for these kinds of things. And so my point was, don't have this incomplete picture of what it is to be a Christian. It's not that you shouldn't throw shade at aggression in comparison to these other things that are supposedly more holy. No, aggression is part and parcel of the life of a Christian, but it has to be, geared towards the right things. It has to be, the proper kind of aggression. And so to try to throw shade at aggression just as such, it's really an incomplete picture of the gospel. It's not a good thing. And so I said to him, your tweet, Greg, featured in the video was about throwing shade at victory by aggression, as if it was bad fruit. In fact, that's what he called it in the tweet. It was bad fruit. Your tweet did not say, don't be a jerk. In fact, the word jerk doesn't even appear. Had you said that, here's my analysis. Don't be a jerk. Good advice. Pearl clutching at aggression as if it's unchristian. Bad advice. Congrats on your resume. I've pinned your comment here so that everybody can see it. Now, he deleted this tweet. And it's very interesting to me that he did so, because I think he realized he kind of misunderstood what I was saying. I'm not going to say he necessarily and purposely misrepresented it, although I have my suspicions. But he misunderstood what I said. And then on the Twitter feed, I actually responded twice. It was a little bit out of character for me, but I was interested. And he gave me more bona fides. He said that, he had gotten some people fired through his work, and that he never said that the government didn't bear the sword, which of course I didn't say he said that. But the point is, though, that he's acted, at least according to his testimony. He sent me a link of something that he had done. I didn't read it because I just assume he's telling me the truth, right? He's telling me the truth. He said he something that he had done had caused some people to get fired from their political positions and all that kind of stuff. And I got to be honest, it sounds pretty aggressive to me. That sounds aggressive because politics, by its nature, is aggression. It's aggression. Andrew Isker said the other day that, politics is war by another means. It's war without bullets. And I think that's true. Politics is a game where you get victory through aggression. And it's a very good thing if you're a Christian in politics to get aggressive and to have aggression and to get victory by aggression. So I don't know this, but I think he deleted this tweet because I was right. This is a big 80 Robles W. A big 80 Robles W. So, what I didn't say in the video that he was uninterested in politics. What I said was that if this is the standard here, that somehow being aggressive as a Christian is unchristian, then I don't want you advising anyone in politics, because that's not what politics is all about. It's pretty ridiculous. It's pretty ridiculous. Now I do have sympathy for people like Gregory Thornberg, because. And this is kind of true with in general with PhDs on Twitter. I don't know if Gregory Thornberg has a PhD. I'm not saying he does, but what I'm saying is it's a similar kind of thing, because you get these people with PhDs on Twitter. Now I'm talking, Greg, don't lose your mind here. I'm talking about PhDs right now. I don't know if you have one or not, but I'm not talking about you in this case. You get these guys like Anthony Bradley, for example. He's a funny one. You get these guys with PhDs, and they've done all this work. And listen, sometimes that work is meaningful. Sometimes, and they work really hard, and they get through all their programs and everything. And And then they get on Twitter and they give they're generous enough to share their pearls of wisdom with everybody, just common folks like me who does not have a master's, did not go to a master's program, did not go to a PhD program. I didn't even go to seminary. In fact, I went to public school. And then it must be hard to see nobody really cares about your PhD. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. And actually, it's really not that valuable at all because you see guys, again, I'll just reference Isker because I've been thinking about Andrew Isker's, content lately. And they run circles around you. And it must be frustrating. He's like, dude, who are you? I've got the PhD. And it's just very frustrating. Now I'm going to shift gears and talk about Greg. He's a GOP campaign manager. And I've never worked for the GOP, although maybe I have. I can't remember exactly. I worked for the Board of Elections for a little bit, a very short time. And I was a registered Republican at the time, and I was recruiting election judges. I think that's working for the government. So technically, I did work for the government for 6 to 9 months. Sorry, not less than a year, man. I mean, just no respect for me. Anyway, a guy like me who sees this stuff and it's like I have nothing to do with GOP politics strategically, and he's like, your strategy is stupid because politics is all about aggression. And it must be hard to see that and know that you've got these bona fides. I mean, he listed them all here. And nobody cares. Nobody cares. Because you said something so stupid as to throw shade at Christian political movements, or just movements in general. But of course, he was talking about Christian nationalists. And how it's bad fruit to show aggression in politics. It's bad fruit. That's not what Peter told you to do. It must be very difficult because you've had all this, you put all this effort into it. And it seems like, I mean, again, I'm assuming everything you're telling me here, you've had some success. At least a kind of success. I don't know how anyone in the GOP can claim that they've had general success. I mean, the GOP wins sometimes, but they win, being Democrats from 10 years ago. Everybody knows this. The more crazy things get, the more liberal conservatives get. It's like saying that the New Hampshire governor, he's a Republican. It's a big Republican win. This guy's pro-abortion. This is not a win. And that's the point. It must be very difficult, to have all these bona fides, to put all this effort in, and just to have someone say, hey, this point about, bad fruit being a Christian, a victory by aggression for a Christian, that's bad fruit, that's unchristian. And I'm like, no, it isn't, obviously, because here's why. And I do that in 5 minutes, and I mean, I've got no bona fides, and yet I'm right. And Gregory would never admit it, but I am right, and he proved that I'm right because he's talking about his political bona fides in a way that show that, yes, politics is about aggression. Anyway, so it must be hard. I have sympathy for people like this. I really do, and I don't really have any ill will towards Gregory. I do dislike his takes almost all the time. But I will say that, hats off to you, man. I'm not going to take my hat off because it's not one of those kind of hats that you take off. But you got a nice resume here. It seems like you're doing a lot of good. I mean, again, I don't really know what you did for the government, but I'm going to assume it's a legitimate enterprise. I worked for the government for 10 years. You? Question mark. Oh man, that was some funny stuff. Anyway, so yeah, Gregory, let me know why you deleted this tweet. I mean, I don't know. I mean, it'd be nice if you could admit that I was actually right about aggression in politics, victory by aggression. That's actually the game. That is the game. Oh man, huge AD Robles win. I gotta say, I don't get a ton of wins, but when I do, listen, I'll celebrate it. I'll celebrate it. All right. Well, I guess that's it for this video. I'm probably going to do another video today because I'm a little behind and all that kind of thing. I hope you found this one helpful. God bless.
Felizmente hoy ella es mi esposa. Cada noche es más amorosa.
One more thing. I also found it funny at the end here where he says, I bet I've done more manly fighting back than all of your listeners combined. A few people, I can't put this on Gregory, but I saw a few people, and I think I saw it from Gregory too, I'm not sure, that were saying something about how, I don't know, pearl clutching about how dare you call me effeminate, this is not effeminate kind of thing. I do call lots of things effeminate, but I'm pretty sure I didn't even use the word effeminate in that, or anything like it in that video. So it's one of those things where it's like, I don't know, maybe you protest just a little too much. Anyway, God bless.